So we'll set up our needles, and to start with I have got my little 40 centimetre cord, and it's not actually 40 centimetres. That's once we get the tips on, that is where the measurement comes from. So let's see how long it actually is. I think it's about 20 something, 25, 26. So it says on the packet with the 3.5 inch tips, and these are the wee ones I prefer making hats with. They're also awesome for neck bands of any jumpers knitted top down. So I've just twisted that on there, and then I'll put my little key in that little eyelet and just gives it a bit of leverage, and do the same on the other side. Twist that on, and now we're good to cast on. So it's coming out from the inside of your ball. Sometimes it's a disaster, sometimes it's good. Got a small disaster. And we are going to make a slip knot to start with. So you can do that on the tables just as easy. So make a loop like that, and just drape that cut end over top of the end going back to the ball. My yarn's a bit kinky. And then take the end going back to the ball and put it through that loop that we just made. Then hold both your ends and pull tight. Now we'll put that on our needle, and then pulling on the end going back to the ball, slip that up to your nice and snug on your needle, and that is called a slip knot. So we're going to cast on. I'm going to make the kid size, which will fit my son. And we're going to cast on 90 stitches. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to do the backwards loop cast on method. So I just want you to fling that around your thumb, and then scoop the loop with your needle. So that's 2. Forget about that tail. Flip your thumb round and scoop. Flip. Scoop. Don't go, you want to twist round behind the yarn and then away from you. This is so that this tail is on the inside of the loop. You don't want to flip towards it like that, because there's nothing to loop pretty much. I'm just going to shift that out of the way so we can see. So flip away from you. Put your thumb around the back of the yarn. Hopefully that makes sense. Now I'm going to cast on 10. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'll do 4 more. You can pause me here and speed up if you wish. And I've got a wee trick with some stitch markers so that you don't have to count 90 all the time. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Just double check. 2, 6, 8, 10. Yep. So I'm just going to pop a stitch marker. Anything. I've got these little brass rings. So we know that between here and the brass ring or any other marker, there's 10. So I'm going to cast on the rest of my 90. I need 80 more, and I'll come back once I'm done. So here's my 90 stitches cast on, and I've got a crazy array of stitch markers. So before each marker there's 10 stitches, so 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. Now we're going to knit this first row before we join, and there is 2 reasons for that. One is so that this stabilizes our cast on stitches, And second, it gives them their stretchiness and their give. So it's much nicer to get this right round the full circumference of our 40 centimetres on the next round. And it will give us a little stitch to sew up, but we'll do that at the end. And another reason is we don't want this cast on row to be twisted when we go to join it. And once we have knit a row, it behaves a whole lot better. So we're going to knit this row, and it's going to have no tricks to it. And as we come to each stitch marker, we're going to get rid of them. So I want you to go in from the front of the stitch and out the back. Wrap your yarn around the needle, pull it through and slip it off. So same again, slip it in from the front, out the back, wrap, pull a loop through and push it off your left hand needle. So we'll just work our way slowly past here. I'll do the first 10 and show you what it's like when I get to my first stitch marker. This first row can be quite slow as you're getting... I split my wool there, so I'll start that again. Just keep easing these wee stitches up as you need them. So I'm almost at a stitch marker, and I'm just going to let that drop off. Ta-da! So I will come back once I've got all 90 and we will join to work in the round, but feel free to go back and play the cast on again if you're not happy with it. Just take it nice and slow, like I am with this pesky little stitch. There we go. I'll see you at the end. These are all my knitted cast on stitches, and you can see they're quite curled up and crazy, so I'll just get you to, before we join, we want to make sure that all this cast on edge is facing the inside, or if you're going to have them facing the outside, they're all facing the same way. So we'll just stretch it the length of the cord, and then I find it's really helpful to sit up on your knee or on the table and just make sure they're all on the in or all on the out. I prefer all on the in. Get those all out of your road so you can see what's happening. But now they're all on the in there, so they're not going to get twisted. And we want to place a marker, and I quite like these little dudes that you get off your... We have them in the shop normally, or sold out at the moment, but you can get them off your clothing tags, and they're called bulb pins. And I just want you to pop that on your right hand needle. And then what we're going to do is we're going to just work our next round, and instead of turning and going backwards, we're just going to knit into this very first stitch. So we're going to be working a knit one, purl one, rib. So the first stitch is going to be a knit, but that is all we need to do to join to work into the round. So I'll pause it here and I'll go to the next section of working the band, and I'll see you there.